Hi everyone. So as you join us cruising over the rooftops of the Cold War Berlin map, another one that I managed to pick up on the lunar sale, which I think is just closed now. But yeah, if you're looking for stuff during the to get in the future, I'd certainly suggest waiting for the sales to pick up, decent modules and maps and that sort of stuff as well. Anyway, less of promo, free promo for the ED side. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about in this shorter video, I say shorter, but we'll see how we get on, is basically it's a little bit of a follow up to the alt hold DAFCS functionality that I was talking about in the last video. So we have got additional functionality. Indications have been changed ever so slightly. Again, we had the recent update, and I spoke about that at length in my last video. However, something that I have noticed, again, kind of cruising around, usually in things like multiplayer, whilst trying to avoid, spammerams and all that kind of stuff from the other side, is particular occasions when actually having the alt hold enabled is actually going to put you into a position where potentially you're going to be sat there going, why is my aircraft going up, why am I kind of steaming towards a hilltop or something like that, and it doesn't seem like the aircraft wants to respond, and it's actually kind of holding me back. So what I'm going to demonstrate, and we'll just kind of move across to the Syria map for a recording that I've set up there. I'll show you what I've seen. I'd be interested to see what other people have experienced as well. So as you join us on the Syria map, then we're just cruising along. Just keep an eye on the controls indicator on the left hand side. You can see the town and certainly the hills in the background that we want to avoid. Notice the altitude mode that we're in, and essentially so we press the brake in on the thrust, we can descend, right? That's kind of what we expect to happen, right? As the mode is kind of, it's active, but it's it's disengaged, it's not being kind of captured. The problem though, and this is something that I actually encountered when I was flying in the Caucasus, was that I had the altitude mode engaged, kind of similar to how I'm demoing here, and I was flying up in the mountains. I was basically trying to get from the coast inland, right? And if those that are very familiar with the Caucasus map, you realise there's a whole set of mountains and things like that, which ordinarily Chinook could have, no problem getting up to altitude and getting over the top. Problem was kind of very similar to how I'm demonstrating here, was that I was getting into a situation, and I was thinking, hang on a minute, I'm not going to be able to clear these mountains, and they're covered with pine forest and that kind of stuff, nowhere to land. But even then I was thinking, surely I must be able to clear it. And then I thought, well, could it be something to do with the mode? And you see what's happened here. Look, I mean, the NR has just got so low in that situation that the generators have actually kind of tripped offline, which is what happened to me before. And I was thinking, what's kind of going on here with that then? And it's almost like when you've got the mode engaged, as soon as you've moved the collective and it's captured again, it's almost like the altitude hold wants to suppress any kind of any kind of current climb or anything like that you've got in place. Which means that trying to clear mountains and hills and stuff like that, like I'm showing you here, it's actually near on impossible to do it. So what I'd suggest for the time being, because we are kind of between modes, I suppose, is if you come up against something like this, what I'd suggest is just basically deselect the altitude hold altogether. Yeah, for anything like this, use it. Yeah, certainly use it for going into the hover, landing, and that sort of stuff. If you're cruising along some kind of billiard table, or for example when I was showing you cruising across the top of Berlin or something like that, it's fine. But if you need to make significant adjustments to your altitude, and in fact I'll show you a descent in a second, then I'd suggest just disengaging it altogether for the time being. Okay, so as you join us now, then I'm just going to put it into a rapid descent, right? And if you look in the top right hand corner of the right hand side MFD, with the one that's got the primary flight display on, you can see that I've got no altitude modes engaged whatsoever, which means essentially it's going to operate how we had the aircraft before. Got the brake pushed in, and yeah, down we go. All's good, right? Even, I mean, we're not over speeding anything, so yeah, it is rapid, but yeah, it's a kind of thing in DCS that's certainly fine. The Chinook you'd be familiar with. Now get ready for me to engage the altitude mode and see what happens. And then yeah, straight away and we did talk about in the last video, right? It's got stuck in, it's arrested the descent, but it's done that irrespective of where I've got the collective. That's the thing. That's the thing to consider when you activate the mode. You might be planning on doing something, but you activate the altitude mode, and then it comes and it's going to stop what you're doing. So then lastly, and we're just cruising along the coastline, I just wanted to talk about, and it is something that I have raised on the forums, is that I've noticed that the aircraft does have the ability to kind of race off. I know I'm kind of cruising a little bit here, but some of the speeds I've seen have been like tremendous, even like 190, 200 knots, something like that, whereas really you're talking like 170 max. The other thing that I've spotted, and again, if you look at the altitude mode that I'm turning on and off, it's almost like selecting and deselecting that mode seems to have an effect on the airspeed. It's almost like it kind of like bumps it up and then bumps it back down, and then bumps it up, bumps it back down again. And you see the kind of speeds that I'm getting here. The thing that I raised on the ED forums as well is that I know the cab's pretty rapid, but you get into this area and really what you'd be expecting is tons of vibration. The aircraft, I know it's a simple, but the aircraft literally kind of telling you, please don't fly me this fast because I'm gonna start falling apart, right? So yeah, so there's a look, yeah, I'm kind of interested to see what other people have seen, what you think about the modes. Have you encountered, for example, the problems of trying to clear terrain, especially mountains and what have you, with those modes engaged? I don't know, maybe you've just you've already clocked onto it and gone, well, the altitude modes are in the current format are only there for hovering, cruising over flat terrain, and you've just got into the habit of turning them off when you get to any kind of steep climb or something like that. But yeah, I'd be interested to see what you've got to say about that one then. Okay, catch you on the next one then. Cheers, bye bye.